Yes. It should be you. Okay. Next time. So if we say props.onChange, it will print this hello. Why? Because we are calling the function, or we are calling this function. And whenever you give it anything, it will just print it. And we are calling it with hello, it will print hello here. Okay? So in this function actually, we will put the logic on how to update the state. So the child will not know exactly how the state is updated. It will just give you the value. And here you will define how to update the state. So if you will say here this dot set state, set state, we give it an object. Okay? We say value, we name it here value. Its value. You know shorthand property? You can do this. You know this trick?
No.
Oh, new trick. New trick. So instead of doing this, which is the same fucking property, like why doing value,
Yeah.
you just do this. And it will be expanded by default after that. Like kind of. You understand? So this is, if you have, for example, name, if you, for example, have like a const name equal Uranus, and you have like an object with name equal name, just do it. Shorthand, straight away. It's called shorthand property. Clear? Should I keep doing it, or? I think it's clear. So it's just value. If you pass values here, you say values here, and it will be values to value. If you are giving key the same name as the variable that you are using as the value, just group them. Make sense? So if this child will set the value here, for example, hello. So normally, just a second, we enter the loop now. Maximum update depth exceed. This can be happen when a component repeatedly calls set state. So we actually figure out that we are calling set state. What's happening now? We render this. This will render this component. We call set state. Set state. We call onChange. OnChange is defined here. This we call set state. When we call set state, we render, or we re-render at least. Okay? And when we re-render, we will render to do. And to do we call onChange. And onChange we call set state. And render to do. And keep doing this. An infinite loop. So we are giving the child a way to update the parent, and when the update will get updated, it will render the child, and the child will call update. Okay. Make sense why?
Yeah.
So because we are calling here set state onChange, and onChange is like set state. Set state means this will re-render, and it will render to do again. To do will call set state. This will re-render. We keep doing this. So we should not do that. So I'll just comment this. So we should call actually this after the onChange. So we said that the onChange here, we get e.target.value. Okay? Until now when you type, nothing will change. So we want, when you type, we get the value. And we want to call the props.onChange with that value. So we want to do this. e.target.value. So we will call the parent function with the value of the input. Instead of displaying the input, we just call another function and give it the input. Make sense?
Using onChange equals to e function and then again pops.
I will delete this. I will delete this. You know what does e.target.value refers to?
Yeah.
e.target.value. It's just the current input value. Okay. What does props.onChange refers to? A function that the parent give it to me as props. This function.
The app, yeah.
We give it here.
Wait, okay.
So props give us this on change.
Yes. So when I say props.onChange, I mean this, which is this. So I'm just calling this function inside it with the new value. Clear? I'm giving this function, which is this function, but I'm just passing it around, playing with it. Give it this, and I just have a function, I pass it around, and someone else will call it. So now you can type. You can see, you can type. Why you can type? Why we couldn't type? Now we can type. We're not typing technically. We are typing, but it's not. The input is not changing. What's changing is this value here, because we are calling setState and changing it with the new value. And from where this value is coming is from the onChange. So whenever the change will happen, we will call this .onChange, props.onChange. Props.onChange refer to this.addToDo. It's a reference to this.addToDo. And this.addToDo will call setState with the new value. Now if I want to see what's the value of this input, I don't need to go to the DOM and check the value. I just have it right here. Do you know why we did this trick? So we can get the state from the DOM, from the HTML and CSS, like in the browser. We want to have it inside our logic, so we don't mix our logic with the DOM. Make sense? Now, if I want to add this, if I want to click button to add this to the to-do list, I just have it here. I don't need to say input the value or something. Is it clear? Think about it like David. So we have a function here that calls setState. It doesn't matter what this function is doing. We have this function that take one argument or parameter, and it will pass it to the to-do add with the key onChange. Okay? Until here we are clear? In the to-do add, we get access to it with props.onChange. Okay? And whenever an input change will happen, we call that function, this function, and it will call setState.
Silence. Hurts my head a little bit. But that's good.
From the onChange, can we just use
What?
AddToDo?
What?
For the this.
What did you say?
On the onChange.
Yes.
line, yeah. Can you just remove the this, or is it?
No,
is
this
it required? Yeah.
this will, like, for example, items, it's a variable. We can just refer to items. But AddToDo is defined inside the class. So I need to say this.AddToDo. Make sense? A little bit? Should I try to re-explain it again?
So this AddToDo function.
Yeah.
This
Which is this function?
Yeah. So this says that inside this value, it means what I'm going to type.
Yes. Why? Because here, when I type, there's an event. I will say e.target.value, and I will call the AddToDo. So props.onChange and AddToDo is the same thing. It's just a reference. You know, function, they reference. For example, the say hi and the func, they were referencing the same function. So when I say props.onChange, which is this one, because onChange is assigned to this AddToDo, it will call this function.
Whenever there is a change, we'll call it AddToDo,
And AddToDo is calling setState to change the variable.
So it's updating.
Yeah, and the variable will get passed here again, because setState will render this.
Yeah.
The value will get passed here again, and we will consume it here again. We say value.props.value. So it's like when you change, you update a value and you pass the value again. You change, you update the value in the parent will give you the value again. But you never hold the state. The parent is giving you the state, and how to update the state. Silence. But is it clear, like what we are doing, why we are doing this? Of course, you should not have like if you can learn like React by a few hours, it doesn't make any sense to learn React or HTML. This is why we have curriculums. This is why we have experience. This is why we have 7 years developer, 10 year developer. Like it's experience. You will get more. You will learn. Like when you build really large applications, you will understand why this shit is useful. Now it doesn't make any sense why we're taking this value. But when we are really getting, I can show you some patterns where you can see the benefit of these steps. We will do that after the break. But I'm just trying to make you understand what we are doing. Can you follow what we are doing, what we are passing, what is changing? Of course, why we are doing it and stuff, that's kind of out of scope. We will cover that, but it's this is the React way. Do you understand why it's happening? Which function? Can someone try to re-explain the thing again?
So for rendering, we should add the thing into the state. So like then,
What do you mean?
like
No, can you try to re-explain all what I did about the input now?
for the input. Yeah. We added a onChange
Yeah.
thing for the input. So whenever we are changing, we are calling a function inside the to-do app.
Yeah.
Yeah. That will set the state.
Yeah.
Like, something is changed.
Yeah.
So the page will re-render according to the new values.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's kind of what's happening. We're listening for onChange, and remember that the state is here because we don't want this component to communicate with the to-do list. So we extracted the value here, so we can pass it to the to-do list or add it to the items after. We'll do that after. But can someone try to re-explain it again? For example, Matthew, can you try to explain it again? What's happening? Do you get kind of the picture, the full picture? Of course, not the pixels, not the details, but the full picture.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say the full picture. It's I'm still a little bit confused as to the
About
whole
what?
thing connects with each other. To be honest.
Yeah, but what? Try to kind of. So we have this function. We have this function. This function is calling setState. Why? Because we want to update this value.
It's setting the state.
It's changing this value
The
here.
state becomes the value.
Not the state, the value inside the state. It will change. We don't change the state as whole. We change pieces inside the state.
Okay.
So this is changing the value, which is here. So hello would become something else.
And so now the value is equal to the value.
Yeah. We can make it like this. Or we can make it like new input value.
More understandable.
Naming is really important. Naming is really important. I'm sorry for that. Because the R2Do will take the new input value. From where it will get it? From here. So E the target value, it will be the value. And that target value, it will be passed here.
Can you explain that one again? If you
Yes.
go back.
Yes.
Unchange equals arrow.
What does onChange refers to? Every time you type, it will call this function.
Okay.
It will call this function. So this function here, before we had hello world here, we had like console.log.
Yeah.
Every time you type, love console.log. You saw it.
Yeah.
Now instead of printing that value, we will send it to the parent, because the parent gives me a function. So I will call a function from the parent and give it the value.
Target means like input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So
we can say here like const new value So I'm extracting the new value from e.target.value, and I pass the new value to the onChange. And the onChange,
It's add.
it passed it here, which is this dot add to do. So this new input value is the same as new value here. And with that new value, I will update the state. And when I update the state will get updated. This component will re-render. This is new. This is low. It's not something new. Value will be what? Will be the new this dot state dot value. So when I say this dot state, I will change hello to something else. So this dot state dot value, it will be that thing, that something else. And here I will say props dot value, which will be that new thing. Does it make sense? Does it make sense a little bit now? Better?
Yeah, I need to go like every week. I need to go home and rewatch the videos so I have the space bar.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand. But I'm trying to kind of like, I don't know, achieve as much as possible. Trying to make you understand as much as possible. So when you go home, you will not be surprised.
Can you explain like I don't know what's saying the target. I don't understand what target the purpose of
Yeah, so this is an event.
Extract.
This is an event.
yes.
It's like what happened. So an event has a lot of stuff. It's an object.
Mhm.
Target inside event means like where the event happened.
Okay.
The event happened inside this input. This is where I typed.
Target means
So-
where?
So e.target means this input. And I can say input.value. So e.target is like the input. I can do this. Const input equal e.target. After that I can say input.value.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Ask more. We are trying to refactor the code and make it more clear and stuff. This is why. If you don't ask more, I will assume that like
Yes.
I cannot do anything else. So try to like ask more. Why this? Why that? And we can kind of build better picture.
Can you go back to
Yes,
the-
sure. To do up? Yes.
So the only big changing is like set state here.
Yes.
The new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that is changing over time is like, so let's try to see it from the UI perspective. So when I render, I will get hello here because there is hello here. There is hello here.
Hello here.
Hello, we will pass it to the to-do list. Okay, we will pass hello to the to-do list. And
Can you go back slow down?
yes, to do add. Sorry,
Yes.
we'll pass hello to the to-do add. And to do add, we'll pick the hello and display it here as the value. This is why we get hello here. Make sense?
Yes.
Sorry. Yes.
Go from
Yeah.
So this value equal to props value. It's
Props.value. It's
from
it's from here, and this dot state is from here.
Why do we need do we need hello as a placeholder?
No.
Why is it
No. I can say it should be empty. I'm just trying to kind of. If it's empty, you will see just it's empty.
Okay.
So this one, like now it's empty.
this
Okay.
state is the initial.
What?
The initial state.
This is the initial state. It should be empty. Make sense? This is the first render. Now, when you type H, what happened? The onChange will fire here when you type H. E.target will be the input, which is our input here,
Yes.
which is the input here. The same thing. New value, we'll say input.value. So the current value, the new value that have been generated. So we say the new value. So input.value, which is the H, just H, it will be inside this variable, new hello. Okay, it will be inside this.
Yes.
After that, I will call props.onChange. And props.onChange, it's a function that it's defined here. Add to do. You know this. OnChange is equal to add to do. Okay? So add to do, OnChange, they are the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say, so when I call props.onChange, it will call this function.
Let's set.
And that will set the new value. And the new value will be here as the new thing.
Yes.
And this will re-render. And when it will re-render, the new value will be what you have put in set state here. And that will get passed to this component again, and it will be here. And this is why we have H.
So add to do function is the mainly the handle the
Exactly, it's like orchestrating. It's like orchestrating. Like you are dump. Like the to do add, it's just a dump component.
Yeah.
So you just have a dump component that it's just taking value, and it will something when the value will change. But how the value is handled? Let's say every time I want to. Okay, let's do something cool. Let's say every time you say set state, let's say hello. Okay? But let's do this. Hello. Okay? So let's say every time you type, we keep hello before and you keep typing after hello. Okay? So we do value.in, we will do this. That will be stupid, but let's say I don't know. That will be a little bit complex. I don't want to spend a lot of time because you will have break soon. So let's say every time you type, I will type the letter twice. It's like double. So if you type D, it will be DD. If you type H, DHH, DDD. Like it's doubling the input that I had before. Make sense? So it's just like you can manipulate, you can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
This is why, like, I don't know, some inputs are crazy where you can type and it will be like, you know.
I think for myself, I don't know how it is for the rest of you, but what's confusing is not necessarily the logic and the syntax, but I keep getting confused how they're all connected with each other. I don't know if that's the same.
We have like the to do up is rendering the so the to do up is the parent of the to do add,
Yes.
and it gives the to do add the value,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives it a way to update the value, which is a function. So when this will change, it will call the to do up again, which is the function that is defined there, and the value will change, and we'll give it a new value. So the to do up is just like displaying a value, and it knows how to update the value, but there is nothing about it special. So to do up is getting a value, it will display it,
Yes.
and it will set a new value when you change it. This is the way, because I don't want to update my state, I want to update the state of my parent.
Mm-hmm.
So my parent will give me a function on how to update his state, because I want to update the state of my parent. Make a little bit of sense?
Yeah. So add button it's not working.
No, it's not working because I'm not doing anything on click. Make sense? Little bit?
It's always getting a little bit more clear.
Yeah, of course. And with practice, we will continue more, and you will see the benefit of this, and you will see why we are extracting this. So that's it for now. Let's take a break. Thank you.